I wanted to give Jake as much time as possible. We do not have a lot of time because, as you know, the president is going to be heading out to the State Department to give his final speech on the foreign policy. So trying to figure out what's the best thing to do here. I can take a couple questions, but we are going to have to end in about, yeah, okay. I apologize for that. Okay, Josh, good to see you.
Good to see you. Some Republicans are saying
Yeah.
that wildfire aid should be tied to increasing the debt ceiling. What does the administration make of that, and what are the plans for continuity for people that are wondering about what the next week could hold for them?
Yeah, so look, I'm not going to get into these hypotheticals and potentials of policies and what's going to happen moving forward. We are very much focused what's happening on the ground, helping local and state officials, and certainly we see what the brave firefighters are doing to trying to contain these wildfires, protecting lives and property, and it has been just amazing to watch this certainly unprecedented event. And so what we're going to do on the federal level, as you've heard this president, we've read out calls that he's done, briefings that he's done. You've seen him in person. Take questions from your colleagues about the federal response here. And what we want to do is ensure that we provide every resource available to firefighters, to first responders. And so we will. Our commitment right now is to continue to support the communities on the ground through different disaster assistant programs and federal government that the federal government could certainly provide. And so that's our focus. Not going to get into what it could look like down the road. What we want to do is make sure that we are dealing with this unprecedented, horrific, catastrophic moment that we're seeing Southern California having to deal with. And we are very appreciative of firefighters, first responders, and obviously the community that we're seeing on the ground is certainly heartwarming.
Thank you for always. You could have stopped taking the hard questions years ago, and you didn't. So we appreciate that.
Over 2 years, my friend. This is let's say one last dance, right? I don't know how I'm going to fill my dance card now. How will I fill that void without you?
So, a week from now, it's all over. Between next Monday and 2028.
2028?
Who's the leader of the Democratic
Oh
Party?
my goodness! Wow. That is for people much smarter than I to make that assessment, that decision. Obviously, voters will decide. That is not something for me to decide. I could say right now, in this moment, in this room, as I'm looking at the clock as it's counting down, because we have to leave shortly, you have the President Joe Biden, who is obviously the president and the leader of the Democratic Party. I do not have I cannot predict the future, so that is not something that I'm going to do from here.
So, no leader of the party.
That's not what I said.
Well, it's not President Biden, and it's
My
not
gosh,
Vice President.
I'm regretting this right now.
DNC,
Regretting
so
all of this.
it's nobody.
That's not what I said. I said that you asked me about what's the 2028 is going to look like between now and 2028. I can't, or post obviously this president's tenure. That's not for me to decide. That's not for me to speak to. I could only speak about the here and now, and that's why I appreciate this job and what I'm doing right now.
And President Biden says that he's not going to be out of sight, out of mind. But isn't that what voters basically said that they wanted? Is him gone?
So, look, this is a president that has served more than 50 years, who has given all of himself, if you will, right, as a public servant, whether as a senator, as a local elected official, as vice president, and now as president. I think anybody who has served that long and does it from their heart and soul because they believe this country deserves so much more. They believe that the American people deserve more, and has worked day in and day out, certainly as president in the last 4 years, I think deserves some respect. I think he deserves some respect.